Joining us on the Mama Couch today is someone who is one of the country's best makeup artists and founder of a makeup school called Huxley School of Makeup. For 2 decades, Michael Huxley has worked with all the major brands like Yves Saint Laurent, L'Oreal, Balmain. I don't know if I even said that right. It probably sounds like an Aussie. Balmain. And he was also the head of the department for the Commonwealth Games. So he managed huge makeup teams responsible for the makeup and aesthetics of 7,000 participants during the opening and closing ceremonies. It's a few years since the Commonwealth Games, but I reckon he'd still be recovering from that. Now, his school has become one of Australia's top-ranked makeup schools, and it is highly regarded globally. And the school employs a whole bunch of industry experts who have collectively worked on thousands of major productions in the film, TV, theatre and fashion industries, and it's how I came to meet him, to be honest. He's worked on movies like The Matrix, Wolf Creek and Elvis, as well as huge fashion shows around the world. And Michael Huxley has also won the Gold Coast Young Entrepreneur of the Year for 5 years in a row. Is that right?
Yeah, that is right.
Okay, good.
But actually, so we do have an incredible team at the school. And yeah, like you said, some of them have worked on the most insane productions like The Matrix or Wolf Creek, or at the moment they're working on a big secret project that nobody's allowed to talk about.
Anaconda.
Voltron. Everybody knows about it anyway. I feel like they all, yeah.
They do. Anyway, Michael is already an amazing mentor to all of his makeup students. So now it's time for Move Over Mama to adopt him as our very own makeup mentor, because Lord knows Millie and I both love makeup. We are addicted to it, and I believe so are most of our Move Over Mama listeners. But Michael can also teach us more than just makeup tricks. He can teach us how to build your very own school. So Millie, are you ready for me to move over so you can interview Michael?
Yes, I'm like bursting with so many questions.
Okay, I know, because you love makeup. So Millie, meet Michael Huxley. Michael Huxley, meet Millie.
I'm so excited. Very, very, very excited. Okay, so Michael, you're not old at all. Only going back like a couple of years.
Let's stop there. End of interview.
Okay, thank you for listening. But only going back a couple years, I'm 13. What were you like when you were my age? Like, what were you like in your teens?
Okay, so just looking at you, you're just so cool. I would have wished that I could be as cool as you when I was 13 years old. I was a gangly pre-mantis. I was the biggest loser at my school, 100%. Aww. Yeah, so I think that, a younger Michael was not as confident as I am today, for sure.
Oh,
it sounds so depresso. But actually, it's okay, because I think that when you're a teenager, you're going through this discovery period of trying to work out how you fit in the world. And for some of us, it's a little bit more awkward than others. And I think for me, it was especially awkward. So
yeah. Yes. Were you also like the tallest in like your classes?
In Australia, just the tallest.
You're a very tall person.
What's your height?
My height is 6'4", but it's funny because I think when I was in high school, I did have growth spurts, but I don't remember being necessarily the tallest. It probably happened later. I always thought of myself as a bit of a late bloomer. So
yeah. Have you always had like a lot of hair in your head?
Yeah, I know. Are you talking about my eyebrows?
No, I'm talking about
Are we talking about how thick they are?
No, but like it's like I love it.
Yeah.
But have you always had like just such thick, beautiful hair?
I've always had thick hair, but it's interesting. I've not always had really long, luscious hair. I've rocked quite a few different styles.
Yes.
But at the moment, it's really long, and I'm thinking, should I cut it all off? Like,
no.
Should I keep it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's gorgeous.
Well, keep it at the moment. But
yes.
Today was one of those days. I was like, I'm not having a very.
I saw you like in a bun. No.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to work it out.
But it looks good either way. It always looks amazing.
Thank you.
Yes. Where did you go to school and where did you grow up?
I went to Ipswich Grammar School, not sponsored. I went to school in Ipswich. I actually grew up in Brisbane, and I traveled like an hour and a half every day to get to school. So why my parents sent me there, no idea.
Was it a good school?
Yeah, look, what I really cherish from my high school experience is I've made some friends that I'm still friends with today from school. And I think that's pretty special.
That is.
And for me, I grew up as an only child. So I've found that I've adopted a lot of pseudo siblings over the years. And so one of them, like I talk to him every single day, several times a day. And, it's really important to have those kind of like long friendships. And I don't know, I think that the school gave me that opportunity. So
That's
Because
good.
we caught the school bus together.
Oh,
And what type of student were you? What were your likes and dislikes at school? Were you a good student? Were you a bit naughty?
No, I was a good student. Like, it was funny. I think back, and I was just reflecting the other day with one of my friends about this. We were a parent's dream. Remember, like, there'd be parties that would be happening when I was like a later teenager, and I remember making up excuses that I couldn't go because I was like, oh, it's stuff on with family. No, didn't. I was like, I just didn't want to go to the party because I was frightened of what would happen. Like, I don't know. I was just in the geeky group at school, and these boys were just all on their best behavior all the time. So, I don't know. I think I wasn't like the kind of kid to push boundaries. Yeah. So I was more of like I think I was a good kid.
yeah. By the sounds of that, I think you were too.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean that's good. Was doing makeup your first job, or like did you like do others to lead to doing all this amazing stuff, including makeup?
Honestly, I had no idea that I would become a makeup artist when I was younger. My first job, well, I worked at Macca's. I feel like that's like a young person's rite of passage. So I worked at McDonald's when I was 14 and a half or something like that, or 15 or whatever it is. Typical age group to sort of start at a job like that. But my first job was actually I washed cars in my neighborhood. And I was really good at it. And I think that's maybe what unlocked a bit of this entrepreneurial spirit in me, because I just really enjoyed going around and making money from people and then selling in these services. And it was so interesting that I remember one time I came home and I charged this lady $120 to wash her car. And my mum was like, oh my God, that's so much money. Like, take it back. Take the money back. Because this was quite some time ago, mind you. Yeah. And I was like, no, I'm not taking it back. Mum, I just polished her car. Yeah. Like, I just did 2 hours of work and, I did a great job and she was stoked. Yeah. Like, she loved it. So it is what it is. And I remember that was probably, in hindsight anyway, I really valued my time and I really valued what I was providing people with.
Yeah.
And that has actually stuck with me for my entire career. So, your time is such a valuable asset. And if you're good at what you do, then, you should be able to charge for it and you should be remunerated accordingly.
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of like me. I would like make paintings and then sell them outside of the house and like make lemonade. And I mean, people bought it.
Always trying to hustle.
That's good. These are great skills to learn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy your teen years, or were you like kind of excited to like just like get up into the real world?
Honestly, I think I used to go to bed at night dreaming about the future and thinking, I can't wait. I just can't wait to be an adult. Like, I did not enjoy being a teenager, honestly.
Really?
No, it was terrible. Like, you're changing obviously so rapidly and it feels so rapid, and you're trying to navigate complex social scenarios with friends. And for me, I was trying to understand who I was. My sexual identity was a real difficult thing for me to wrap my head around because I just didn't really know what it was. And I'd never even met a gay person before, and I'd never really seen queer people in general. Like, because back then, I think I was on TV and I remember being like, gross, I don't want to look at that. I was turned off by it. Like, it's just wild. But so that was really challenging. And then obviously, like I mentioned before, being a bullied kid at school, I just really dreamed that there was like a better way and that it would be easier when I got older. So I used to just tell myself that every night when I went to sleep, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. So,
and I did.
What type of
manifested
bullying
it.
did you get?
a lot. I reckon in high school, there wouldn't have been 5 minutes where somebody wasn't saying something negative about me. It was really horrible. Yeah, even in my friendship circle, there was people weren't very nice to me actually. So it was a traumatic experience that I actually did hang on to for a long time because I think the issue was that it got to a point where I actually believed in everything that the bullies were saying. And there was one time, I remember vividly, there was this boy who had created a list of all of my faults. And he went through the list. And then at the very end of the list, he said, you know what? You're just totally effed. Aww. And then I said, okay. And then I just walked off as if it was normal. And I believed it. I believed everything that he said to me. And it was really hard. It took me a really long time to actually grow confident in myself and to actually learn to love myself.
How did you do that?
It was an uphill battle. I don't know that that there's one thing that you can just like turn a switch and then all of a sudden you're going to have confidence. I think you've just got to believe in yourself and to appreciate that, you know, the world is like a massive place. And sometimes we could be in, as teenagers, you're in these fishbowl scenarios. You know, if you're at school, some kids are good at math, some people are good at sports, some people are good at art. There's all these different personality types and they're all thrown into this same environment. And that could be really hard to be able to just find your people. Yeah. And some people just don't find their people at that point, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to find your people in the future. And it doesn't mean that your value is any less. So
Where is that bully now?
I don't know, bald and struggling probably.
And you're never going bald. So
I don't
you're
think
always
so.
going to have that.
No, I got a friend who does hair transplants as well. So I'm sorted. I'll be right.
fair
No, I don't know where they are. I think, you know, would I have, you know how a lot of people say, you know, but you've grown because of it and, you know, you're strong because of that. And I don't know. I think I would have done well if I had not have been bullied. I would have preferred that, actually. So I don't think that I had to go through that to be the person who I am today, but it has defined who I am today. And if there was a positive takeaway, I tried to treat everybody with kindness and empathy as well. You know, maybe that is a positive thing, but yeah.
The people that say that probably haven't gone through it though.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, you know, maybe they were just projecting their own insecurities.
Maybe. Yeah.
And
Or they had a crush on you. I mean, often that's, I know it's weird. It's jealousy or crush. There's something for the bullying power.
There was this one situation, which I don't know if it's appropriate on this show, but like it was definitely an interesting situation where, yeah, he was really quite nasty to me actually, but also eventually came out as gay. And that was one of my first experiences, if you're reading between the lines. And so I think like that was interesting that would eventuate. But yeah, no, high school is really hard.
Yeah.
It's tough, right?
Yes. When you discovered makeup, what did it do for you? Yeah.
Actually, when I first got interested in makeup, I think it was just a creative outlet. I didn't really take it seriously as a career. It was just doing something that was creative and transformative as well. Like I just thought it was fun. I loved actually just the whole process of getting ready and going out with friends.
Yeah.
And I loved that environment. And I loved fashion. I loved music actually. So a lot of the people that I hung out with when I was like a later teenager were also involved in like music industry and that sort of thing. So I think, yeah, that was, for me, it was just like another creative extension of who I was as a person.
Yeah. How old do you think you were when you discovered like that you could in your mum's wardrobe?
Well, I was in the closet in the wardrobe and those doors were closed. I think, yeah, it's funny because probably 17,
Yeah.
pretty late really, with makeup anyway. I was trying so hard to not be gay. That was anything that was a bit gay I was frightened of actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know this about you.
Oh, it was crazy. I had, so many funny experiences. I remember being in high school and I put gel in my hair, like hair gel. And this teacher was like, who are you trying to impress? All the boys? And I'm like, oh, no, he knows. I was like, how does he know? And I was like, no, I'm not trying to impress anybody. And he's then dunked my head in a trough and made me wash my hair.
Oh, what?
And I had my hair in like a trough and he's washing my hair. Get the gel out of my hair.
Oh my gosh. How is your like hair styled?
It was in like with gel and I spiked it up.
Which so many
'Cause I
people
couldn't
had
have-
at that time.
At the time. And I was like, you know, had shorter hair back then and it's funny. But it was interesting because my hair was like a part of my insecurity as well because I had like red hair with black spots in it.
Why?
That was the color.
Wait.
That was my natural hair color.
Really?
Yeah. It was
Like a ladybug.
like a ladybug. Yeah, or a dog. Yeah, like a lady dog. Ladybug dog. Yeah, but I had more of like an Albany sort of reddy brown color hair, but I used to get bullied about it. I remember one time this boy with like bright orange hair was bullying me about having red hair. And I was like, this doesn't make sense. I don't know.
I want to see what you looked like with lady dog hair.
Lady bug dog hair. Well, I'll paint the picture. This is fake tan, by the way. I'm not normally this brown. I was extremely pale. I covered in acne and I had this red hair and black spots in my hair. And I was extremely tall and skinny. And I had this big dint in my chest it's called pectus excavatum, which is a condition where your chest grows in like that. So I had and I ended up having a big operation when I was 16 or 17 to get that corrected straight after school finished. And but it was, again, like I was a bully's like just cup of tea. Like they were so excited.
Oh, it does sound like your teens were hard.
It was hard. It was really hard.
So then how did you start that process? You've gone McDonald's, washing cars, really bullied into the journey of doing makeup.
Well, it's funny because McDonald's gave me a lot of confidence because it was a new network of other young people who weren't nasty to me. And it really showed me the way. There was this beautiful girl once that we went out. There was this big excursion and all these schools went out. And this one school was there called Clairvaux, and they were in the catchment where McDonald's was, where I worked. And I saw them there and I was terrified. I was thinking, oh my goodness, they're going to find out that I'm a loser. They're going to find out, the kids at McDonald's are going to find out that I'm actually a loser at school because we were at that school. And you know what? The boys had been really mean to me on the bus ride going to this excursion, and was at QT. Some Nobel laureate was giving a talk, and that's what we were doing there. Anyway, so we'd gotten off the buses and we're walking up. I see the Clairvaux kids and I quickly separate myself from all of the boys from my school because I was like, I don't want them to be bullying me in front of these kids. And the Clairvaux kids were there, and then they're like, oh, do you want to get a coffee? And I'd never have coffee in my life. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get a coffee. Went off with them. They treated me so nice. That was so friendly. And then they're like, oh, well, I guess we better go to watch this lecture. So we went into the lecture theatre and I just hung out with them. And then all of a sudden, a group of boys from my school all went and sat behind us. And my heart sank. They started taunting me. They started saying all these really nasty things. And I was like, oh my God, my McDonald's life is ruined now as well. One of these girls, her name was Beck, she turned around and she just laid into them. She started defending me. And it was the first time that someone had actively defended me without any reason, without any hesitation. And it gave so much hope to me as a young kid to know that, like, yeah, people really do care and that there are nice people out there actually.
Still your friend?
She's not, like, I wouldn't even know where to find her. Like, she was, she was maybe she was a year older than me at high school or something like that, but she worked at McDonald's. The next day I was terrified because we had like work on that weekend, and I met her in the crew room and I said, Beck, like, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so sorry that happened. And because I was losing sleep about it the night before, thinking I was going to go back to McDonald's and then she was going to go and tell all the kids that I was a loser. And she goes, oh, Michael, why would you be worried about that? It's nothing. People are assholes. Like, don't even stress about it. It's nothing. Wow. And she didn't tell anyone anything. And it was like this, not only did she defend me, but I could trust her as well. And again, like another young person that I could trust. I was like, wow, that really like inspired so much confidence in me. So, you know, having that first job like was so important actually to stepping stone towards becoming more confident in myself.
I mean, was your an hour and a half drive to Ipswich like worth it for the? Like,
that was the best part of school. Okay, that was my favorite part was the bus. That's and like I said, one of my friends that I'm still friends with today, Sharad, he was on the school bus with me, and yeah, we're still really close. So. Yeah.
So then how did the makeup then start?
Yeah, well, it came later. So it was straight after school when I was hanging out with my friends who from McDonald's, and outside of that extended circle that I became friends with everybody, and then just started doing makeup. And then I met a couple of makeup artists who I just thought was so cool and trendy. I was like, well, I want to be like them. And I remember helping them like washing their brushes and stuff, and just loving being in that environment. And so that's how makeup sort of kick-started for me. But my very first experience in makeup, I think, or when I first started taking makeup seriously as a career, that wasn't until I'd already gotten a job in makeup. So, and then I started to, because I went straight from high school straight to university, thinking that was the pathway that you needed to go down. And you could imagine that none of my friends were doing creative industry roles. Like they literally were all going off and doing medicine. I was like the only one that was doing something a bit outside the box. And in my head, I was like, how am I going to compete with these guys in the future? Like, or how am I going to be able to be on that level? you know, it's really important that I make sure that I'm successful in this as well. So I really did put my heart and soul into it because I wanted to make sure that,
So did you finish your degree? What was your degree?
international business and business. And I did not finish. I left. I left and then I went back again. I left, I went back, and then I went back because this is a long story. But I was dating a boy who was, again, had a lot of issues with like internalized homophobia in himself. And he didn't like the fact that I was doing a gay job. And then I was like, okay, well, I better go back to uni and not do a gay job. Anyway, he broke up with me and broke my heart at the time. And then I was like, you know what? I actually already have a really cool job in makeup, a job that people would want to have. Like I was working for Yves Saint Laurent, like I was traveling as a makeup artist for them. Like how cool is that? Like that is a cool job already.
Yeah.
Why am I trying to be somebody I'm not? And
Yeah.
yeah,
Were you like instantly good at makeup? Like, did you just get the hang of it?
maybe I thought I was, but no. I look back at photos and I'm like, wow, I was so bad. It was really funny. Like I was terrible at makeup, but unlike so many girls who like grow up applying makeup every day, like that wasn't me. I didn't even do art at high school. So again, I just didn't want to do any creative classes at school because that was like, looked down upon actually at the time. So I didn't, so for me, like, it's funny. I was a late bloomer. So it took a whole lot of practice,
Yeah.
a whole lot of time.
What age do you think that kids should be wearing makeup? Like, no, what age do you think people should be wearing makeup? Because there was a massive thing going around, like the like Sephora kids that were like kids like my brother's age wearing like makeup.
Yeah.
What age do you think is the suitable age?
Loaded question. I'm not a parent, so I'm not here to tell anyone like how to raise your kids kind of thing, you know, because it's up to you. I think because teenagers are going through so much already, getting onto skincare is important, and they're marketed so much rubbish. Like there's so much pseudoscience in skincare where, you know, they're trying to tackle acne as an example with, you know, creams and lotions when they just need medication and then they can get themselves sorted. Like they need to see a doctor, not a beauty therapist. And I think that it can create more problems as well. And because they're spending so much money on like different cleansers or exfoliating their face and doing these different treatments and it's not really having an actual effect. So I'm not a big fan of that in general, but I think makeup is just a creative outlet. So if younger people are wanting to experiment with makeup and have fun with it, maybe the conversation that parents need to have with their kids about it is that it is a way to express yourself. It's not necessarily just to cover up. Like if the narrative in your household is that you're doing this to be hot or you're doing this because you have self-esteem issues, then that's a problem with that, not a problem with makeup. Makeup is not the problem. So I think it's more about, you know, the context around why the kid is playing with makeup in the first place and what is the application for it, you know, because if it's just to feel fresh and clean or, you know, when they're going to school, I think that that's not necessarily a bad thing. Obviously, you know, young kids, I'm not promoting little kids be putting on lipstick and big eyeliner and stuff like that. But it should just be maybe something that's a creative thing and fun.
My creative makeup was putting blue face paint all over my face and like putting lipstick, like my mum's like expensive lipstick all over my face.
Stunning.
I remember doing that. It was like the best day ever.
I don't know if she remembers it or she looks at it on my phone because I had to document it. Yeah.
I remember the Smurf one and when I put your lipstick all over my face.
Millie's always loved makeup, so she used to want to do it on us as a little girl.
Put like mascara on
So
there.
how did you deal with it?
I was fine. My mum was a nutrimedics lady, so I grew up around makeup as well. She was very strict about the age I could start wearing it. I wasn't allowed to wear it young. It was different times though. Like it was, I think now you can get away with wearing makeup at all different ages and everyone just gets it. Whereas when I was growing up, it was still that kind of generation of it means that you're, you know, not being parented well if you come to school with mascara on and lipstick on. So then because the parents feel like it's a reflection on them, you're not allowed to wear anything. Whereas now I think people just get makeup as being makeup and there's not as much judgment out there. So I was fine with Millie playing with it. It was like our faces were her canvas and that's how I looked at it. And it was play. We would play. It's how she wanted to play and it's important to play with your kids. And that's what I see makeup as play. And then also she was in dance. And dance, they wear makeup on stage even when they're little tiny ballerinas on the stage. They have a little bit of mascara so you can actually see their eyes under the lights. I've never had a problem with it.
Yeah.
I remember when I'd put like mascara on mum and dad's eyebrows. That was really
I
fun.
let her just do whatever she wanted.
was really
what tool she used, it was on my face, however, because I knew you could wash it off.
Yeah.
And it killed time. I mean, when you've got little ones and you're just trying to entertain them wholesomely and not on devices, if it's putting makeup on my face, put makeup on my face.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my grandmother's so funny. I was talking to her about makeup because she loves makeup as well, and she's of the opinion that, well, you wouldn't leave the house without brushing your teeth. So makeup is the same for her. Like, she loves it as a part of her ritual and a bit of self-love in the morning as well. And that whole, like, you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're taking time to appreciate yourself. And I think that's a really beautiful way of looking at it as well. So maybe it's just how the kids are doing it. And that probably can be confronting to some parents because these kids, they don't know how to do makeup. And then so they're probably caking it on, or they're probably doing things the wrong way. And then it ends up looking like trash. And then it's the parents are like, oh my God, you can't ever wear makeup. And then they have this big blanket rule, no makeup.
We just need to teach them how to do it. Well, and I think
Yeah.
that's happening now with online.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What has been your favorite makeup trend, and what is a makeup trend that you also think should just be like buried under a rock and like never see daylight again?
I love all the trends, you know, because they bookmark a period in the world,
Yeah.
don't they? You know, we look back throughout history at all of these cool makeup looks that have happened. They really define the aesthetic of the people at the time. And I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
So I'm down for all trends. As far as a trend that I think I'm not of, maybe the block brows from 2015 or concealer lips is not the cutest thing from like the early 2000s and stuff like that. That, you know, they're just, maybe those ones could stay away forever.
For me,
Otherwise,
it's thin eyebrows.
Really?
I was going to say that.
Okay, well, here.
Is it coming back?
It's massively coming back.
No, it can't.
No, it has to.
It can't. It ruins your eyebrows forever. And now we're
Yeah.
all getting our eyebrows tattooed on because we plucked the hell out of them in the 90s.
Yes, and then we're going to look back at really heavily tattooed brows, and then people are going to be like, oh wow, that's so aging, because that was the trend at the time. And it bookmarks this period, and if it's there, and then those, I don't know, it's like when Billabong was like really, really popular, but then years later, like 20 years later, if you see like the same bogan bloke wearing like a Billabong like t-shirt, then the kids are like, well, I don't want to associate with that. So they're like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and it kind of becomes like a period of time.
Yeah.
And so it's funny because I'm really lucky being at the school. I feel like we're really on the pulse of like what is on trend, because the students, young people, they're the ones who are shaping the trends of the future.
Yeah.
So your generation is shaping the trends of today. And what a lot of the young girls want is thinner eyebrows. And we were like doing a class the other day where we were teaching them how to like laminate eyebrows. And the girls were like, I don't like them too big, too thick. They're like, we like them nice and thin and feminine.
I
And it's
feel
really
like
interesting.
a month ago, everybody wanted like big, nice, and like just like thick shaped eyebrows, like laminated. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, would you ever like?
But do you know what's
cut
funny?
off your
Is that the
eyebrows?
lamination trend, do you know, we've been teaching that at the school for like, I don't know, 8 years. Like, it's funny because like when a trend starts, it takes time to build up steam. So I feel like the thinner eyebrows, it's building up momentum now. It's going to come. It's definitely going to be there.
Did that just get like tremendously louder?
Yeah, I feel like you're really picking up on all the sounds, which is fine. There we go.
There we go. Alrighty.
Yeah, so it's interesting trend.
You've worked on a lot of famous faces. Can you name some, and what are they like? Do you ever get nervous?
In a work setting, I would say I'm not nervous about the people that I'm working with necessarily. It's probably the projects can be a bit intimidating. Like some of the jobs that you do, if imagine this, I've been before to some really exotic locations, like done photo shoots in Bora Bora as an example. And then in my head, I'm stressed about the project as a whole. I really want to make sure that we get all the shots and all the content, because I know that the brand has spent so much money sending us there to produce these beautiful campaign images and videos. So I think it's not so much the makeup element that I'm even stressed about on these projects. Normally I feel a lot more comfortable once we've gotten the shots and I can breathe. So I think, more so the project itself can be a little bit intimidating at first, but because I've just done it for so long, so many times, it's pretty effortless. I'm not too concerned anymore,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah.
What about the Commonwealth Games? What was that as a project like?
It was stressful. Yeah, at times. Well, it's funny because, I don't know, I was like maybe half the age of every other HOD who was a part of it. And in the opening ceremony alone, we had like 28 different segments. So that's like every segment had its own directors and producers. And the makeup department was across every single element of every show. So whether the opening ceremony, the closing ceremony, we also did pre-production things and other satellite projects that were happening as well. So I really loved the buzz of it and I loved the high, fast-paced environment. But there were times where things were a little bit stressful and I maybe didn't have the experience at the time to be able to handle it. And not that I didn't handle things in a bad way. I'll give you a funny story. There was a situation where during the closing ceremony, we were doing a dress rehearsal and I sent my team home because they really didn't need to be there because they weren't doing a makeup dress rehearsal that night. And they were running through things and they were so slow. Like things were just taking the longest time to block everything out. And I went up to the executive producer and I was like, I've already been around to all the headline talent. I've already spoken to everybody. Everything's sorted. Do you need the makeup people here? And he's like, no, your call. Totally fine. You can bounce. Don't worry about it. And then I was like, awesome. Time to get some sleep because I've not slept at all. Anyway, so I'm driving one of the makeup artists home and his name's Martin Bray. He's an amazing makeup artist who he's been like the head of department for like X Factor and The Voice and shows like that. Like he's this amazing makeup artist with like twice as long experience that I've got. Like he's been, doing this for a really long time. And anyway, I get this phone call from one of the people from a costume department. She's screaming at me on the phone, Michael, where are you? We need you immediately. You've left. And I was like, yeah, I'm dropping a makeup artist home and I'm done for the day. Like I've already done everything. And mind you, this woman was not my boss. She was not my superior. Like she was like in the games, like my role as being the head of the department was the head of the department. The person that I was speaking to was the executive producers. Like I didn't have to, and the directors obviously, but it wasn't, this woman. And she's like having a real go at me. And I was like, what is it? What do you need? She goes, we need elastic. And I said, what? She goes, a hair elastic. We need people, we've got dancers and they need a hair elastic. And I was like, well, I don't even have a hair elastic on me because they were at the stadium, which is a totally different location of where we were. But can't somebody just give them one? Like, doesn't somebody have one on them? Is it really that big a deal? And she's like, oh, whatever, it doesn't matter. I said, no, it's okay. Like, I'll come back. Anyway, she hung up on me. I've gone back. And you know what? I happen to have a bag of hair elastics in the car. So I took them back to her. And she's like, well, I don't need them now. And I was like, no. You keep all of them. Keep the whole box of them because you never know when you might need a hair elastic.
Oh my God.
And then for the rest of the night, I just hung out with the Veronicas and we just chilled. And so literally like we were just sat down because everything was taking so long anyway. And then I was like, well, I don't want to leave because I don't want people to think that I'm not working hard. So I just hung out with the Veronicas for the rest of the night. And then we didn't wrap until like 2 a.m. But what a stupid waste of time. Michael today would have been like, no, Janet, that's not happening.
Yeah.
I'm going to bed. You're an idiot.
Yeah.
You know, and
Seriously,
but it's
Janet.
literally Janet. That's the thing, and it's that I think comes with confidence and time and like reflecting on the games. I feel like we got just amazing results. Like all of the executive producers and the director, they all loved me. They're like, thank you so much. You guys did an amazing job. Makeup team was so good. Meanwhile, the fashion department had all these kind of problems, massive problems. They were like suing the production. And for like, fair work problems and all these kind of big dramatic things. And there was none of that in my department. Like we were smooth sailing. So I think even though sometimes these projects, they could be really, really intense and really big, but there's always a nice way of handling a stressful situation.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Sometimes you don't need to yell at people for like no reason. Yeah.
That seems...
Yeah, crazy story.
Janet. Goodness.
Janet. God, such
Yeah.
Karen. It's like a Karen situation,
Oh,
Janet.
yeah.
Karen, same thing. Yeah.
She is a Karen. Which one do you think? Oh, yeah. This one?
Yeah.
15? Okay. How and why did you decide to start Huxley School of Makeup?
Well, it's interesting because, again, I couldn't have imagined that the school would become what it has today. When I first started, just thought that I would start some photography studios and makeup studios on the Gold Coast and that we would teach classes. And then it wasn't until I sort of dug a bit deeper and I was like, wow, people really crave quality education that's from an industry perspective that ticks all the boxes. And for me personally, like even in my experience, I've mostly worked in commercial production over my career and in art direction. So I've not done like the big feature films that some of our other trainers had. So I wanted to make sure that I could create a place where the students could experience everything and have this really amazing, really well-rounded educational experience, because I don't think I had that when I was studying makeup many years ago as well.
Where did you study it and how old?
I don't think I should say it online.
Really? Okay, no, that's fair.
Only because I think they might still be around. I don't know. There was all these dodgy schools as well. This is another thing. There was all these dodgy RTOs that had started, and they were just ripping off the government for, student vet fee help and things like that. They go into like a low SE area and then get them to sign up for courses under the guise of getting a free iPad, and then they'd build the government like $30,000 course. Yeah, it was so dodgy. And I was like, well, I just don't want to have any affiliation with those kind of businesses. And even the school that I had studied at many, many years earlier, they just didn't provide any work experience opportunities. Like they claimed that they did. All these schools, like they claim, oh yeah, we do this, we do that. What do they do? Nothing. Like they literally didn't do anything. And it's so funny because even today, when I ever go to the careers expos, I look around the room at all the universities and all the schools, and I'm like, what do you guys do for your students? Like we have the most insane work experience program, like everything from working on feature films to fashion shows, music videos, theater productions, like all kinds of different things that they get the exposure to so that they can actually get these skills. Because I don't know, I'm personally in the belief that, we're actually all self-taught, and which might not sound like the right kind of thing for a principal of a school to be saying, but actually, there's no magic pill. It's up to you and the environment that you're in. And if you can have like this really positive environment where, you have these incredible work experience programs, you're networking with actual industry people who are super successful in their field, you're able to develop this amazing network, you're able to build this incredible portfolio of your work. Like that is what is going to set you up. So for me, creating the school was about, in the beginning, it was about creating a legacy of something that could even live on beyond me, but it was always based on the outcomes of the students and not on my personal experience, but on the student experience.
Yeah. How do you get your students like the gigs to go on, a filming, like to do makeup for a scene of a movie? Do the movie people reach out to you or do you reach out to them?
Well, sort of both ways, actually, because we have some of our trainers like actively working in the industry. So they're working on these major big blockbuster feature films. Like at the moment, we've got about 4 students working on the Voltron movie that have gone out there. So cool. And there's graduates who are actually employed there and working there, as an example. So cool. And I think that some of those come through our trainers, and then other experiences, they maybe filter out through us just reaching out to, different productions and letting them know that we exist as well. Yeah. But a lot of time these days they come to us mostly.
Yeah. What ages do you like teach, like year levels?
Yeah.
Are we able to go to?
Yeah, we have a diploma course, which is probably what made the school so famous, is that that one's just all ages. Like we've got people who are maybe like from 16 to 60. And that's, really wide.
Yeah.
Demographic of students, and that's because they've all got different educational outcomes, but they're all very serious about working in this industry. The diploma students are they've all got different goals of where they want to go in the industry, whether it's in film or in fashion or working in bridal industry or whatever, e-commerce, becoming an influencer and that kind of thing. They do. But we also have the certificate students, and they're high school students. So we do like an in-schools program as well, where they come like one day a week and they do a certificate, and they get actually the points to go towards their QC as well.
Great.
Or the ATAR, go towards their ATAR as a QCE points.
That's
that's pretty cool too.
And I think for those listening that don't know you, it's not just, if you're just imagining like, makeup for a red carpet, that's not your school. You do that, but you actually do like full theatre
3D.
and
monsters and creatures. Oh,
how to do blood on people's face. It's all that sort of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, like, I mean, we were at the Actors Awards just recently.
I saw it. It was so cool.
It was so
They
cool,
were doing
right? The
it-
demon.
They were doing it out in the open where everybody could see.
Yeah.
It was so cool. We went past it when you were going down to interview Balmain. There were these people doing makeup on these, what were the demons?
Like a demon thing. Yeah.
And it was like amazing.
Yeah.
Everybody was filming.
She had this huge spine like busting out of her skin, and then she had giant nails. She had like these, well, it was very bloody. Like it was very scary. Lots of prosthetics, and she had a really cool wig on as well. Oh, it was awesome. Yeah.
How long do these things take?
Oh, they can take a while because they manufacture the prosthetics as well. So they learn how to do that at the school. So those prosthetics were actually made by students too. Everything was created by students.
Wow, how do you make a prosthetic?
It's a process. There's so many different ways of doing it, but at the school they learn everything from like life casting a model so that they can then develop the prosthetics to fit exactly onto that person.
How fun.
Pretty cool.
Have you ever reached through a trouble where you might have, one of your students are doing makeup for a movie, but they actually might be in the movie if they want to be like an actor? Has that ever happened?
Yeah, okay, it's funny. Oh, yes. These things happen more frequently than you would think. Oh. Just the other day, we were doing a fashion show for Bulgari and Kaloshi, and it was really cool actually.
Wow.
They had beautiful, beautiful gowns as well. It was a really cool event, cool fashion show. They did the fitting at the school in our studios. And while they were there, the creative director saw one of the students and was like, wow, she's so beautiful. We should see her walk. And then they literally took her, got her into an outfit and made her walk up and down and filmed her doing it. And then they're like, yeah, we want her in the show.
Wow.
And then they put her in the show. How cool is that?
And I had one of your makeup artists do my makeup for the Elvis movie. I had to host the premiere of it. And the girl that was doing my makeup had been in the movie as well as makeup artisting because they needed lots of extras.
They did.
And then you could see her in the scenes
Yep.
in the film. So, yeah, it does happen.
It happens all the time. And I think what's cool about this industry is that it's, you're networking with people in all different types of productions. So there are times when students they just get scouted, or because they know someone who's doing it and they hear about an opportunity, then they can take it.
And I think it goes the other way too. You might have wanted to be an actor and those roles are hard to come by.
Yeah.
So you've got to have a second job. Most actors do.
Yeah.
So why not have a second job that is involved in the industry so you're still around it, the industry that you love, whether it's an opportunity to get in or you're just still in the industry that you love.
Yep, it can be really tricky because I think actors and models, they're unicorns. It's you're kind of winning the lotto if you get one of those positions. And obviously you're not cast for every single job, but as a makeup artist, you can work on every project. So it's just, it's pretty cool.
How many students do you think you've taught?
Thousands? I don't know,
That's
a lot.
really-
Yeah, because the school's been going for so long.
Yeah.
Imagine this, like 2011. That's a long time
When
ago.
I was born.
What?
I had a baby when you had a baby.
Oh,
You had a
no,
school
that's
baby.
true.
I had a human baby.
And I used to think of the school like that.
Did you?
Because back then, this was all like pre-gay marriage and that kind of thing too. So in my head, I was like, I could create this thing that would be like a baby to me. And then I could influence people and be able to, when they graduate, they take a bit of the school and our values with them. And that would have like a positive impact that could roll through the community. And so maybe it was like, baby, I can't believe 2011. That's crazy. Oh no. That's cool. Yeah.
So
lots of students.
Could kids my age go in on one school day and learn makeup, or is that for, I guess, the year 10 to 12?
Yeah, so the cert course is a proper qualification. So for them, they start that when they're in year 10 typically. But we do occasionally run workshops here and there. So, you can keep an eye out on the school website and there might be opportunities to jump online and do things. But we also have a really cool online program, which is about to get rebooted actually, which is pretty cool because we're redoing part of our website. It's not actually a how to do makeup workshop. It's actually a how to practice makeup. And it's like a study guide. And it's super cool.
Yeah.
So I would recommend that because, we can all watch YouTube videos until the cows come home. But if you're not actually practicing it, you're not going to improve. So the guide is actually about how to study makeup, how to practice makeup.
Is being a makeup artist just such a good job? Like, do you just look forward to doing something new every day? Because I feel each makeup look that you do is never, ever going to be the same.
Yeah, it's funny because the job is so much more than just painting a face. Depending on what part of the industry you work in, there's so many different pathways for people. I think these days I love creating characters and being a part of like the wild student projects because, like I said before, students are always a part of the trend. Like they're always doing like, they've got great ideas and, you know, I love being a part of their crazy ideas and their cool projects. So that's really cool. But yeah.
What's the coolest look you think you've done or that stood out for you?
I've done a few really funny ones. One time I was painting my friend Karina. Have you guys? You know Karina?
I think Millie would like her on the podcast.
She should come.
I love her so much.
She should come.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell her to come.
I
on the
really
show.
love her.
Yeah, she's awesome. Karina and I we're like two peas in a pod. We've done lots of silly projects over the years. And one year
I think I know what you're talking about.
Which one?
Is it the one where you like painted her entire body or is that another one?
Well, yeah, no, I've done it a few times though.
Oh, yeah.
Which one though? What color was she?
Was it blue or black? Or
There was a blue one just recently. I painted her as an avatar.
That's what I was,
Yeah, which was pretty cool. But there was another time when I painted her like as if it was just like all of her muscles, like all of her skin was ripped off.
Ugh.
And
I remember that one.
yeah, but it was really funny. It went viral online because all these people were like, Attack on Titan, this anime. And they all thought that it was inspired by this anime called Attack on Titan. That's really popular. I'd never even heard of Attack on Titan in my life. And I was like, oh yeah, it is. That's it. Attack on Titan. And I just ran with it. And all these people were like, oh, excellent, excellent.
Whatever
So
makes
good.
me go viral.
Yeah,
That's it.
and it did. And it was so cool. But we just had fun making that content because, you know, these kind of creative projects, they're not necessarily the day-to-day as a makeup artist, but they're so much fun. And it's just, I love the process.
Yeah.
I love creating content.
How long did that take? Say for the full body one,
Yeah.
like painting her into an avatar, how long did that take?
Well, including all the dancing, including all the stuffing around, and which
have
is
to
a
add
lot.
that.
And also filming, like, oh my goodness, like that also takes a lot of time to like get the content.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a long time, hours.
Yeah.
Hours and hours. We went and had Guzman afterwards, like
in
and
her
then
full-
in the full outfit, and I was in a cute outfit as well. I also did my makeup in like 10 minutes, mind you, at the end. Yeah, it's crazy.
Just going back, you started the school in 2011, which is kind of when social media really started to start. Like that was Facebook was a little bit before that, 2006 or something, and then Instagram and so on and so forth. It's obviously helped you in your industry, social media and the rise of everyone being able to broadcast what they do and showcase what they do. Because you've gone viral on quite a few things. Has it helped?
Just wish that I took it more seriously in the beginning, like as it was coming out. But honestly, I was still self-conscious. When I first started the school, I wouldn't tell people that it was my school because I didn't want people to think that this young guy was running this business. I wanted to be taken seriously. So I've called myself the course convener and I still call myself the course convener.
Even though you're the founder and owner.
No, but like people like take
They
you
know
so
it though. They know it's you.
Well, maybe now they do. Now they do years and years later. But at the start, like honestly, I think that there might even still be students who don't realize.
Wow.
Yeah. But there's
It's your last name.
It's my last name. Yeah. Well, I've had so many funny times where one time I was sitting just at the front desk with one of our staff and this student goes, "Hey, where's Huxley from? Like, what is that? Like, what's is it just a name?" And then one of the guys was like, "It's his last name. His last name." And they're like, "What?" I was like, "The family business."
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, "Well, I guess starting with me."
I mean, it's such a, like, I see why they would think that it's, you know, just like a cool name because Huxley is such a cool name.
Yeah.
Like Huxley School of Makeup. I think that's just like,
Huxley could be a sunglasses brand, a shoe brand.
I
like
think
it's
it's just
actually
cool.
a good,
Yeah.
strong name, isn't it?
It does. It sounds cool.
it is really cool.
But anyway,
Yeah. Why did you want to call it Huxley School of Makeup?
and I don't know. I just thought it sounded good at the start.
It does.
It's funny
really does.
because looking back on it, the first few years, I was like, oh, why did I call this thing my last name? I should have called it the Australian School or something or others or whatever. You know, all the dodgy schools had already called themselves that. So I was like, I'll just call myself Huxley. So yeah, but it's interesting because at the start, like I just wanted the students to be like the hero. I feel like we've lost topic. What was the actual
No, that's
question?
a great
Like,
thing. No, you're right on topic. It's
Like-
just, you know, it's interesting this whole podcast, how we want to find out who you were as a teen to where you are now. I'm seeing a lot of the teen trauma still in you as an adult, and that fear carries through sometimes.
Oh yeah, because like the way that I wanted to present myself was super professional. So I was always worried about what I was posting online. And there has been a couple of times over the years where I've copped criticism for things that I've posted online from not necessarily just like regular hate online. I'm all for it. Please hate me more so I get more engagement. But
I love
which is
that.
great.
No.
But actually
This is a mum coming out saying, don't wish for that.
We don't want that. But actually, from really unusual sources. Like I remember one time this person who was a part of this government agency, and they were quite senior, and they went and said some really negative things about me, about the way that I projected myself online, as if I was just like sitting on this pile of cash based on like the fact that I was running a school and making money off the back of students. And I was like, well, firstly, you don't know how expensive it is to run a school. Secondly, you don't know how I've invested my money. I've done really well because I've been smart about it over the years. Like I've made really good decisions, and it's not based on the school. But in my head, I was so cautious about what I was posting online because I wanted people to take me seriously, and I didn't want people to think that in any way that there was like a negative reason for starting the school, because I genuinely am all about the students' outcomes and making sure that we're creating an environment that the students can then go on to do really well in.
Yeah.
So I think I wish that I was a bit more of myself on social media
Yeah.
in the beginning.
But now you are?
Well, now I think I'm being a little bit more authentic online.
I think you are.
It's hard to post so frequently. That's really hard. But actually, now I don't really care as much. Like it doesn't worry me.
Yeah.
And
Are your parents really supportive for your...
good question. That is a good question. I don't know if they were 100% onto it in the beginning. I think they are now. They're very supportive of it, to be honest. But when I was first getting involved in makeup, I think they were probably like, well, what's this? Like, I don't know that they necessarily thought that it was going to be a great career for me.
Yeah.
And part of that comes down to the fact that I don't think that they really knew people who were successful in this industry. I don't think that they haven't worked in jobs as entrepreneurs at all.
Yeah.
They're from more of a traditional sort of working environment. So maybe that was why, like, it was a little bit hard because I was breaking the mold. And they're super proud of me now, for sure. I'm confident that they're impressed with what it is and what it does, because my mum will be out and about, and then people will be like, Huxley, that's like the makeup school, and then they hear about me and they strike up a conversation, and mum's super proud of that. I think there's a lot of people that probably have a similar experience, because sometimes parents, they can be frightened of like what they don't know, but
Yeah. What does every day look like for you?
Rainbow and sunshine.
Okay, we already got that down.
Look, running a business can be pretty stressful at times. It is really intense. I wouldn't trade it for the world, because I do get so much joy out of aspects of the job, which I love. But there's always things that are really challenging. Over the years, I think part of my success is that I've been really good at problem solving. So because I've been really good at problem solving and tackling different challenges, I've been able to overcome them.
Yeah.
And so I would say there's, different challenges every single day, but how you handle it is really important. I don't always get it right. Like everyone, we have our bad days, and some days I do get overwhelmed with what's going on. But, it's as long as I think, overall you make more good decisions than bad decisions, I feel like everything feels like it's going up. So I try to stay positive. And also I need to reflect as well. Sometimes I can be really critical of myself, and, but if I was to look back at what like a very young Michael would think of me today, if like a teenage Michael could see me now flourishing, I think he'd be like, whoa, that's so amazing. Big house on the water. You got 2 cool dogs. Like you've got like all yourself put together.
Yeah, the
you
lizard's
like,
stuck in your fence today.
a lizard in my fence. I travel the world. I travel the world extensively doing this. This industry has given me that. Wow, that's so amazing. And I've got so much to be proud of. And I think, honestly, I need to be a bit kinder on myself even today.
Just looking at the time, Millie.
18 or...
Yeah. Yep, there we go.
Okay. You have already lived and are living such an amazing full life. You've created a makeup school. You've traveled all around the world. You've done so many famous people's makeups. You've accomplished many dreams that people have, but is there some dreams that you still are dreaming of?
I do. I've got so many goals. Goals are so important.
Yeah.
they're the beginning of everything. And so I think that it's really important to have all types of goals. You need those big picture, pie in the sky, Harry Potter and space goals. They're really important just to inspire you and to kickstart you into confidence and onto the pathway and whatever you're going to achieve. You also need to have a bunch of other little mini goals along the way so that you can reach those big outcome goals. So for me, there's lots of things I'd like to achieve. Building a brand at the moment for the school, even like a cosmetics brand. I think that's like the next thing. It's really hard. It's taken me a really long time.
That's exciting.
But it's really exciting. So that's like one of the little mini job like projects and goals that I've got. Yeah.
Mini?
At the moment, it's a
Wow.
mini one.
If that's mini to you, then you must have some big stuff going on.
I've got a lot of big stuff going on.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't
So
know.
that's exciting. So just Huxley.
Yeah. It's called HXLY. Pronounced Huxley, but only because Huxley is already taken as like an actual cosmetics name.
No.
Yeah.
What?
Crazy.
Who are they?
Some Korean company.
Imposters.
They're not even called Huxley.
No.
That's my last name. No, but I actually like HXLY. It looks so cool on packaging and stuff. So we're developing a product line, which is actually inspired by the students because I wanted them to have really good quality products and be able to service professional makeup artists, but then I want it accessible to everyday people. So pretty much like that's the whole ethos behind the brand is that we're creating these professional products that everyday people can use.
Yeah.
That's a big dream.
So excited. I'm really looking forward to
Well,
that.
maybe you can get some today.
Wait,
I might have a little gift for you.
Oh my gosh.
I thought it was in the making. Yay.
Is it a prototype?
So we've just launched some new brushes, which is really exciting. And nobody actually they're not on the website, they're not anywhere yet. So yeah, you'll literally be one of the first people to get these brushes.
I'm honored.
And they've taken like 18 months to develop because they're all like handmade brushes that are made from a hyperallergenic vegan synthetic fiber, and they're like super high quality, and they've all got these special molds that we've used to make them as well, so that they're unique shapes that are multi-purpose and
Congratulations.
yeah, it's really exciting.
Yeah.
So that's one big goal. Are there any others for you?
Do you mean like in
Do you want
myself?
do you want the school to be national?
Like that kind of
Do you have
thing.
any of those kind of goals?
Well, the school, we've got a school in Brisbane now as well, which is cool. That started at the start of last year, so that's been going really well. I'm not sure necessarily that I'd want to take it nationally. I think I really like where the school is and what we do. That said, I do have some other things that are on the cards, which is really exciting that I can't really talk about it just yet. But yeah, I've got those. But as far as like lifestyle goals, honestly, I just want to spend time with my dogs. Like I love them so much. Like I've got a really lovely partner, Harry. I should acknowledge him because he really does so much for me. Like he does my laundry. He's the domestic one. He's mowing the lawn at the moment, so he's just so sweet. So, I think big picture goals, probably just to keep on loving life and just having more life experiences. And I love traveling, so maybe just travel more.
If you could go back and talk to younger Michael Huxley, what would you tell him?
There's so much that I wish that I could go back and tell my younger self. And it makes me upset just thinking about it because, even just touching on those things that we talked about before about being bullied, that it was so hard and I didn't always see that there was like an out. And so I'd love to be able to, if I could go back and just say, it is going to get better, you're right, it's going to be good, then that would be nice. Just a bit of peace of mind and just to be confident.
How would you explain your life now to him? And would he believe you?
Yeah, maybe he wouldn't. Maybe he wouldn't believe it. Particularly the being comfortable in my sexuality thing. That was a wild one. Like, I think that for him to think that as a teenager, I still thought I was going to get married to a woman. Like, I didn't think that was even a thing. Like, I was really delusional about my sexuality. So I'm married to a man now. You married me.
I did marry you.
You married me. That's so special. And actually it was, that was really special thing that happened actually. So yeah, I think he'd be gobsmacked if I was to tell Michael that today. And I hope that a younger Michael would have been proud of me if I was to tell him about what I've done and how I've got to overcome it.
Very, very proud.
He would be.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what advice do you have for teens?
I've got so much advice. I think it's really easy for someone on the outside to say, be more confident. I think you've just got to find it within you and to appreciate that things take time. It's really important not to make nuclear decisions when you're stressed, because there's always an aftershock. So if you're ever really stressed out, just take a breather. Just take time. You'll be fine. You'll be okay. It's okay not to have all the answers. It's okay to not be super confident in yourself in that moment of time. because, hindsight is 2020. You look back on things and you go, what a breeze. It wasn't even such a big deal after all. We can all choose how affected we want to be by our problems. So I would say a bit of advice to kids would be to try not to sweat the small stuff and just be kind to yourself as well.
Yeah.
And to know that things do get better with time. And the more you do things, the more experiences that you have, that's all a part of learning, and these things are good. Even the bad experiences are good as experiences in the end. You look back and you think it's all part of life.
And what about advice for teens wanting to get into the makeup industry?
Yeah, well, like I said before, we're all self-taught. Get in there and have a go at doing makeup. When it comes to doing it professionally, I think it's important to have a professional competency in something and to be in the right environment that'll help you to flourish. And if you want to become a professional makeup artist, there's no better place to study than the Huxley School of Makeup, for sure. Subtle plug. But I do believe that, and, it's all about that environment. So I would say that if you're interested in working in makeup, or even extended, like the creative industries, we've got past students who are production managers on feature films now. So where you start your education journey is just the beginning, and that's really exciting, because a career is actually something that you look back on in hindsight and you're like, wow, look at all those cool things that I've done. It's not something that you just step into straight from school. So you can just, I think, get as many experiences under your belt, get as many qualifications under your belt even as well. I think it's so cool that you're learning eyebrows and you're learning all these things, because the more skills you've got, the better. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. That was really good advice. I loved that. Thank you so much, Michael, for joining us. I've been looking forward to this for so long, and I was really excited about my bubble tea yesterday, so thank you so much. But this was such a fun podcast.
I've been really looking forward to this as well. I've wanted to do it since you've kicked off your podcast. I saw you doing it. I was like, oh, that'd be so much fun.
I hope it was.
It was the best. It was so good. I really loved it.
Thank you, Michael.
Yay, thank you so much for being on this podcast with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.